Good morning, it's Friday the 29th of October 2010 and we're currently at the second Midlington site on the River Meon, and today signifies the final day of cattle observation, not only for 2010 but also for the PhD as a whole. And to mark that occasion I thought I'd bring you a summary video of the key findings over the course of the last 6 months since April. We've gathered over 500 hours of data across 65 days and 3 study sites. And so if you are interested in the actual results of this project, then please stay tuned. With respect to behaviour, it was a key objective of this study to quantify the amount of time that cattle spent conducting different activities, and specifically what we were interested in was their frequency of grazing, resting and other activities that might have a geomorphic impact upon this environment. And we discovered that cattle spend around half their time grazing, around a third of their time resting, around a tenth of their time just standing around, and the rest of their time is split not entirely equally between defecating, urinating, social activities, drinking and also browsing from trees. With respect to spatial distribution, it was seen that cattle spent most of their time in the terrestrial environment. Crucially, it was also discovered that cattle spend around 2% of their time in the aquatic environment and around 10% of their time in the riparian margin. However, the exact distribution of cattle appeared to be dependent upon the type of land cover within each given study site, and there was a directly proportional relationship between the percentage time spent within a given land cover area and the percentage cover of that land type within the study site. So, for example, at the first Midlington site, where approximately 10% of the study site is covered by trees, cattle spent approximately 10% of their time underneath trees. As well as the valuable quantitative data of cattle behaviour and location, we've also been able to gather qualitative observations, particularly with reference to the creation of landforms such as this, the cow ramp, which is an area of preferential access for the cattle into the river environment, and these features can be found along the river bank at numerous locations. We've also seen in the terrestrial environment that cattle can create cow trails, which are preferential areas of cattle movement across the terrestrial environment. And both these features, as well as a number of other features, have been identified as being created by cattle. In stream, we've seen how cattle activity within the river can lead to the mobilisation of sediment, particularly fine particulate sediment, but also organic sediment from defecation and urination. As we see the cattle upstream, they are currently causing this movement of sediment we see here. And this is certainly one of the impacts we'll have to assess into the second year of the PhD. The ecological impact of cattle seems to be generally beneficial, both in the terrestrial environment and the aquatic environment, and this relates to the intermediate disturbance hypothesis, which suggests that if you get a range of disturbance regimes, which you do in the presence of cattle, then you're going to get a range of ecological niches, and this appears to be true in the chalkland environment for invertebrates, mammals, birds, and perhaps most importantly in terms of the flora. There are a wide range of different plant species in these environments, ranging from thistles and nettles through to grasses and flowering plants, and the presence of the cattle only enhances that ecology. So what conclusions can we draw on this, the final day of observation for the PhD, looking at the impact of cattle grazing in chalk rivers? Well, it's pretty clear that cattle spend a relatively short amount of their time in the aquatic environment, around 2%. But that doesn't really give us an insight into the geomorphic impact of these animals, both in stream and the terrestrial environment. Over the course of the next 6 to 12 months, we hope to quantify what the geomorphic impact is. How much sediment is mobilised by cattle when they're in stream? What are the impacts of allochthonous nutrient inputs from faeces? Do these cattle cause substantial bank destabilisation? These are just some of the questions we hope to answer in the near future, and hopefully, with a little bit of luck, we'll have some videos to follow that up. So thank you very much for following us over the course of the last 6 months, and yeah, hopefully we'll be back soon.